then when you hear the music, we're live and people can see us. What I want y'all to do is on those pages, refresh it, and when you see the live feed, share it with your people. That way they don't be calling you saying, I don't see you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna mute the mics now.
I don't know how to do the live. I've never done it.
Did you go to the so did you go to the email?
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
Gmail?
Yeah,
Gmail?
Yeah, well, I went to the, I sent it to the gray area. Or is that it?
It's loading. Okay, we're gonna have to skip that.
What's that?
It's not playing, so we just gonna have to go live. All right.
What's that? A new intro?
Well, nothing is playing. Like I can't even hear. It's probably something I got to fix on the mixer, so it's all good.
But was that a new intro or something?
Yeah, that was Pat Snood.
Nice.
Yeah, he just sent it. All right, so I'm just gonna go live, and then we'll give people about 60 seconds to tune in, and then we'll just start.
Hey, this works like with the music. I can just send it to the. I can do it, on my phone and send it to the email.
No, it's not playing.
Oh, it's not.
No. It's cool. We'll go live. We're going live now. Okay, we're live, so you can refresh that page and then share the feed.
That's some good pictures.
All right, 5, 4. Wait a minute. Sorry. Early countdown. Hold on. Let me go ahead and share. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, viewers. We are live right now. This is the Gray Area, and this is your boy Ray E.
And this is your boy P. Wills. What's happening?
And this is Ebony.
AB.
Ebony. Who's that?
Okay.
You gotta get somebody.
It's not me. See, why you gotta... First person that you say is me. That's never me.
Oh. Is that me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is me.
Yeah. Dun,
I
dun,
called
dun,
it.
dun.
I called it. I said Ebony, and then look what happened.
How'd you know?
You owe me an apology.
You didn't
My
hit that
bad.
mute button like you usually do.
My bad.
All right, y'all. We have some very special guests here today.
Special.
Very special.
special.
Very extra special.
Indeed.
It's Black History Month.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get some snaps to that?
As if we got white people any other time.
Yes,
Right,
we do.
right. You know, so for us that do celebrate 365, Black History Month is nothing new. You know, we celebrate all day long achievements of black folk, African Americans all around all the time.
Yeah.
But today we're going to talk about art, culture, and history.
And meet the artist.
Correct. And you all are artists.
Yes. Right.
We're going to talk about individually your specialties. We know some people like to write, like draw. We know some people that like to paint. You know, the art comes in different forms. So we'll talk about what you guys specialize in individually, or you may do all of them, and how you got started in that. So let's start with our introduction. We have Tony Radford here.
Thank you.
We got the goat. We got the goat in the building.
Peace, man.
We got Gary G in the building.
What's up?
Goat number 2. Another goat.
Yeah.
They
Rebecca
all
Robinson.
Another goat.
Greetings.
Also a motorcyclist.
There's ghosts everywhere.
Goats everywhere. I mean,
GOAT. The greatest of all time.
if I could just touch the hem of the garments up in here.
Man.
I'm telling you,
What's up, man?
they're nice.
And then we have LaToya Marlin.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
See, Eb, I'm the GOAT. Okay?
You
My
can
memory
have
is
it,
the GOAT.
because I can't remember.
Short-term memory is the GOAT.
Yes.
But so let's talk about art. So you all are in the field of art. This is your field. Tell us how this relates to. So LaToya, we'll have you start.
Break it down for us, please.
And tell us, if you could actually introduce your medium of art, your art.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I am a mixed media artist. I dabble in some oil paintings, acrylic paintings, mask making. It's kind of something fairly new I've been messing around with for the last couple of years. My grandfather was an artist. He was a mask maker, jewelry artist. So I come from a family of creative people.
Nice.
Let's go.
So
Creative.
yeah, I think all artists kind of dabble in a numerous amounts of different things. I do a little photography also. So yeah.
Okay. And then what was your question right about?
No, how that relates to our history, like our culture, like what's the history behind that? Because like people expect that when they see us African American people that don't know about African Americans just think we sports, music, TV. They don't understand that there's artists out here, people doing all kinds of things. So maybe there's a reference or what got you into it.
People
Somebody
that
that's
aren't
been in
cultured.
history,
People that aren't cultured don't know that there's black artists.
There you go.
I just think back to just my own elders. There was always someone doing something creative. Historically, off the top of my head, I can't think of how it all kind of correlates together. That may be a question for Tony. Maybe he can dabble more into that.
Well, what people have to know is visual art. Visual art is the oldest art form there is, and we started that. Visual art
break it
was
down.
written in caves, on cave walls. So, so our history is art. Everything we've done is art. If you go back to Africa, when the kings and queens and metalsmithing, basket making, wine making, we did all that. So it's all about us. And we started it, and we're gonna continue to do it. And as I said, visual art is the oldest. And anything you do, everything in this room, these mics, the chairs that we sit in, that screen, somebody had to sketch it, draw it. Somebody once asked me, why did I include a fashion show with the visual art? Well, fashion is art too. It's one of the oldest art forms there is. And if you look in your history books from day one, we dressed. When they brought us over here, we were kings and queens dressing in silk and trading silk and stuff. So that's the history of black art.
So,
You have to go way back.
so would you say that?
Beginning.
So would you say that most thoughts that are manifested is art?
Yeah, most thoughts, you know, if like I say, if I was the creator of this desk, I had to sit down and sketch it, draw it out, cards, you know, whatever. You know, everything we do is art.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just
Somebody
want.
said they can't.
Yeah. I just
hear.
want to make sure that the viewers here. I know I was messing, tinkling with the mics just to make sure that we get the right levels. Yeah. So if y'all can hear us, give us let us know quickly.
I can hear you and Pat really good, but I can't hear Tony. Real
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
You turn that.
Viewers, can you
Yeah.
hear us?
Yeah, please let us know if y'all can't hear us or can hear us. We working on that. So Gary G,
Yes, sir.
tell us about your art form and historically, culturally, how that ties in.
Well, for me, I think historically it started with my family. Like, my mother could draw, my uncles could draw, paint, sew. Kind of like Tony said, everybody could do a little bit of everything. So I followed a lot of my family members around. Like, my grandfather was good with wood and metal. But I would kind of just like lay in the floor and draw, like, on the back of the old paper sacks, tearing them up, or just whatever, just drawing all the time. I think by the time I got into 6th grade, my mom brought me like a professional art kit for Christmas one year. And then, that's when we had them long Christmas breaks. So I just pretty much played with everything in the kit. Ended up going to like Heron for Saturday schools when I was in junior high. Ended up being the first black kid to go to a art camp at IU, had a summer arts institute. At the time, I really didn't even realize, the significance of that. But like now looking back, I see the impact of it. But, just dibble with all kind of things in life. But wherever I was at, I was always drawing or playing around with something. But later on, ended up going to art school. First it was for like design, and then like painting and all that came along, like pulled back into fine art, which was really my passion, but I didn't know it at Ivy Tech.
Sure.
And, I had a professor, Hector Del Campo, and they was asking like, who's your artistic influences? So everybody's saying all the stuff like Gauguin, Picasso, and all that, but for me, I was like J.J. Evans from Good Times.
That's right.
And he laughed, and he was like, that's cool, but J.J. Evans from Good Times didn't paint them paintings. You got to find out who did. So doing the research, I found out it was Ernie Barnes. Ernie Barnes was a professional football player. They had paid him to take time off from playing football to paint. So like Marvin Gaye, Sugar Shack, pretty much everything on Good Times. I mean, he did that, right? So he was also one of the first African American artists to have his own solo show, like in New York.
Yeah.
So it was like, and that was right before, I believe, the Harlem Renaissance. So at one time, like you saying, historically, it was like 50, 52 black artists all got together in Harlem. So that's writers and everything. And,
Man, we need that again.
yeah.
I think it's already happening.
It's coming,
I think it's
man.
here. To be honest
You
with you.
can't see the forest for the trees
Right.
sometimes.
It's just raw
It's
creativity.
what I had to realize, but like it's a lot of talent
Yeah.
in Indiana, but it's like we're behind as an artistic town, or culturally.
Yeah.
It's
For
like
sure.
we've been a 9-to-5 sports town. Like Tony would say that. Some of the other older artists I know, or artists that have been out here doing it, would say that. But it's like it's a trend that's trying to change. I think even the mayor's on it. Mayor Hogg said wants to see more art. The arts council, like us, like we are. I always say we are stronger together. And since Tony got all of us together, it's like, man, you just learn from each other. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's awesome, man. Rebecca, talk to us.
I've been an artist since I was, really young. I went to a non-traditional school. I grew up going to a Montessori school, and I was really lucky to do that because
Hands-on.
they focused on, your creativity and being independent and having the freedom of thought. So, I'm 4 years old, 3 years old, not understanding what that means, but now I truly understand how important that was into shaping who I am now. And both my parents, very artistic. I grew up in a pretty artsy household, from music, sculptures in the house, paintings, one-of-a-kind artwork. My Uncle Bruce, he teaches art in Ohio. He taught at the university level. But, you know, I was just always introduced, whether it was food, music, painting, sculpture, visiting museums, and I was honored to be able to have that. I know a lot of people don't have that privilege, but I was able to really absorb a lot of that. I wasn't sure what I really wanted to do. I mean, a lot of people, you know, you don't necessarily know exactly what you want to do as a career, but I just knew I wanted it to do something creative, something that had to do with the arts. So I went to school for art. The first school I went to was for fashion design. I just swore up and down I wanted to be this fashion designer, and I had no idea what exactly that meant. Pretty much that program took your money just to show you how to do some pattern making and sew with a sewing machine, but it didn't teach you anything about the
business
industry.
side. Yeah.
So it was cool because it did help me along the lines of wanting to start my own business. So what I did with my art, instead of just hanging it and having it in a gallery or doing art shows, I started creating artwork and making one-of-a-kind handbags. And that was a medium for me. That was a vessel for me, because I felt like, okay, well, if people aren't buying my work from something hanging on the wall, what's a niche? And women like handbags, fashion.
Yes,
so I
they
started,
do.
you know, putting those two things together, and it was great. So for over 10, 15 years, I started doing one-of-a-kind handbags. My brand is called Snob. And that went really well for me, but I think people started associating me with just purses, not as a fine artist.
Yeah.
So I started getting back into painting again, and then when I started painting, people were like, oh my God, like, you really could, you know.
You do more than make handbags.
Yeah, you do more than handbags. And that was a blessing for me for, you know, when I got with the group, We Are, it gave me an opportunity to not just focus on my own art, but learn other art from other people and what their aspirations were, and being able to learn the ins and outs of showing your work and knowing how to brand yourself. And so it's just been an honor to be amongst such talented people. And I'm a mixed media artist as well. One of the things I'm known for is I've been working with concrete and tar, which is a non-traditional medium. A lot of people use, you know, acrylics and oils and what have you. I got kind of bored with it, and I wanted to push myself. So
You said bored. Right?
yeah, I did.
So this
I
was
mean,
concrete guitar.
right. I got a little bored, and I think all artists, you know, you have to push yourself, and you have to. If you get too comfortable, at least for me, when I get comfortable, I'm like, all right, it's time for me to, you know, do something different.
Can you explain like what you do with the
Sorry, concrete.
Cause,
the concrete?
Yeah, because some people like myself can't imagine.
Yeah.
What do you do with the tar and the concrete?
Can you fix these potholes also in the city? Can you,
I mean,
that's what I was thinking about.
Get you a
Like,
contract,
right.
Shout out to 30th Street.
Well, what's so funny? People always say, "Well, how was I inspired to work with concrete and tar?" And I'm sure all of you guys are familiar with Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Sure.
And he had a song I think it came out in like 2014 or 15. It was called "All Right." You gonna be all right.
Yep.
And for some reason, that song just it just spoke to me. And if you go back and watch the video, it's black and white. It's grainy. There's something about it. And I swear, when I heard that song and I watched the video, I was like, I'm gonna go to Lowe's. And straight up, I went to Lowe's, got a cart, started just putting stuff in there, and I was like, I want to do something that has to do with like street or grimy or texture or whatever. I wasn't sure. I got these materials, and I got a wood panel. I laid the concrete. I took a tar with the caulk gun, and I just started drawing with it.
Wow.
And whatever, it just happened.
It just
I
happened.
didn't plan it.
That's how it happened though.
It's
Just
happened.
like that.
Yeah.
And now you're creating something that other artist coming up will be like, you know what, I'm about to use her technique.
Right.
And all of a sudden you got a technique that's named after you and that people are using for generations to come.
Hey,
Yeah,
man,
I
she
think
might
I'm
have a
so
bunch
lucky.
of-
So, but I'm proud of it, and
You might have
you
a
know,
bunch of statues, man, walking around here though, you know,
Right.
trying to do what you're doing.
yeah. So I don't know what'll be
Concrete, man,
next,
just
but
fall
that's
on them,
what's
they just
fun.
stuck.
Yeah.
I think that that's awesome, and see stuff
Yeah.
like that is what's inspiring. Obviously, everybody has their own creative mindset. You know, I used to do music. That was my creativity. You know, what I feel like I could make something in the studio and then give it to people and let them do what they wanted to do with it. And I didn't take. I think I admired more of like people's response to the music. You know, and I think that's how art is. Is you create something and you put it up there and then you watch people. Oh, you know, I remember I went to the art museum, and this guy was just staring at this painting. I'm thinking to myself, what does he see in this painting? And then so I had a conversation with him. I said, man, what are you looking at? Like when you stared at that long, I look at something and I'm done. It's short. It's the same thing. But some people look at art different, and he was describing something about this texture and the strokes, and so explain to people who aren't familiar with art and why people are like so into it. You know, when they like people that admire art go to an art museum and they just stand there for 20-30 minutes looking at a painting. Explain to the viewers what they're seeing.
Well, I'm not a painter, so
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't draw a straight
I don't think we
line.
got to hear what your
But
mediums were anyway.
I'm a
Tom.
mixed media artist,
Okay.
found object sculpture.
Sure.
As Rebecca said, I've worked with some strange materials. I used to work with bones.
Wow,
You know,
Wow.
that's pretty deep.
and I started out making jewelry,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody gave me a small bone and wanted me to incorporate it in a necklace. So I started telling people to save me small bones.
Chicken
The
wing
bones kept
bones.
getting bigger and bigger
Yeah.
and bigger.
Yeah.
And I've also, although I don't even know how to play chess, I've always been fascinated with what the pieces were made of. So playing with these bones, and I used to trip people out there, go in my refrigerator and see all these bones and stuff. And so I came up with the concept I want to do chess pieces made out of bones. And I created a chess set, and all the pieces were made out of bones. And I think my first real inspiration was I entered that piece in the '83 State Fair, that piece, and another piece that was made out of all bones called Survival. And these bones, Survival, represented a fish, a big fish, and it looked like a fish had fins, a tail, and it was chasing a smaller fish. And I had all this sea stuff at the bottom to make it look like a sea scene. And then I had a hook hanging down, you know, man fishing for
Wow.
survival, and this big fish chasing this other fish to survive. Well, 2 weeks later, I went back out there. I won first place and second place
Wow.
in the non-professional category. So I was like, I'm an artist now. You know,
Wow.
this is it. And I got
Yeah.
a $300 check. You couldn't tell me nothing.
Okay. You said 83?
That was in 80.
Oh yeah, that's about
83.
what, 3,000? Nah. I know it wasn't that
Pretty much.
currency
So,
didn't change that much, but
I had to nickname him Mr. Bones back in the day, you know. But, you know, you do something for a while, then, you know, like I said, it started from jewelry, then it went
Yeah.
to bones, and I've always been like one of the little rascals. I'm not a trained artist. I was just gifted to be creative.
Yeah.
And when we were younger, you know, I was always the lead. You know, I always had to plan. We're gonna build a tree house or a go-kart
Wow.
or whatever. You know, give me some tools and some wood. And back in
Builder.
the day, in the neighborhood, you had little small businesses
Yeah.
in the neighborhood. So we would raid the trash cans and stuff, you know,
Yeah.
and create. And then, like I say, the bones led to something else. Then I started dibbling and dabbling in photography, abstracts, and then mixed media. So I just, and like I say, sometimes I try to draw a straight line, you know.
Yeah. 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 For sure.
But
But you're better with your hands.
I'm better with my hands.
Wow.
Creating my own tools, you know, when I
Yeah.
was messing with the bones, you know, one thing was how am I gonna get all the grease and brittle, you know, brittle off of.
Yeah.
So I had to, I worked at the library, so I started reading, you know, what
Yeah.
So I came up with a solution. You boil the bones in a solution and let them dry 24 hours, and they're pure white. Then I could stain them, paint them.
Wow.
And I just did. I made pins, incense holders. Did, like I say, pictures and all the, you know, did the pieces in bone. So
Wow.
it's just a creative niche, man. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
sometimes. And then sometimes, you know, you start something that's supposed to be totally one thing. And
Yeah.
I was doing a piece with some bones and natural wood, and I had the title and everything. And I was reading about the Middle Passage.
Mm-hmm.
And the piece was going to be titled All Natural, No Preservatives,
Mm.
with the driftwood and the bones.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was reading the Middle Passage, it's like the spirits took over. And the piece that I created was the African Holocaust, and it became an award-winning piece. I won a
Wow.
expo in '89 with that piece,
Mm.
and then was asked to put that piece in the traveling show.
Mm-hmm.
It traveled all over the country and wound up at the Smithsonian, but
Wow.
Wow.
That's major.
I didn't do that though. I didn't make that
Oh.
because I wasn't prepared or ready. You know,
Oh, okay.
messed around and so I kick myself every time now that I let that opportunity.
What do you
pass.
think? What did you think drove that? Was it like something like you thought this is too big for me, like or you know, was it procrastination, or was it just something that you was afraid of?
Procrastination and not being ready. And I tell a lot of artists now, man, you know, you got to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you it's not only your artwork, your written. You know, when you get in these big shows and things, you know, your paperwork got to be right.
Sure.
Your photographs of your work got to be right.
Mm-hmm.
Your inventory got to be right.
Mm.
And then, you know, you start submitting to different shows and stuff, and you prepare. I wasn't.
Starving, quote unquote, starving artists, but they're gonna do art regardless. That's the 9 to 5. But then you have people that thought they were supposed to be or thought they were supposed to be a dentist, or thought they were supposed to be in corporate America, you know, or thought they were supposed to have all these other gigs, but supposed to be an artist, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So do you consider it? Did you guys go along a path where you were like, oh, I'm not supposed to be an artist, this is just a hobby, you know what I'm saying? Let me just work this 9 to 5 and that's it. That's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And come to that realization, no, this is full time. This is me, this is my lifetime or lifestyle.
I think for me, I started out doing art. I always loved it, and I always did it in school. I went to IU, majored in fine arts, and then kind of lost a little interest in it, and I was like, I need to do something else. You know, do I really want to do this as a career? And so I started to go in a different direction, and then didn't do any art at all for many years. And then my mother got cancer about 7 years ago, and then I just started doing art out the blue, and it ended up turning out to be art therapy for me.
Okay.
So I think that and then it kind of went from there, and then I just started entering shows and showing my work, and it just kind of exploded for me. And so I've been doing art since then consistently. I still have a career, but I think art will always be there somehow in the background, no matter what I do. And I do it more for the love of it. It necessarily doesn't have to be money or compensation behind it. When I do get it, it's awesome, you know, to get paid for doing your art.
Yeah.
But I think that it'll be something I always will do regardless. I do it for the love of it. I do it for the therapy of it, and do it to be able to kind of share it with other people. It's just, you know, just for it to be seen and help other people get opportunities. So I think all of us have different reasons for why we have become artists and what we do, why we do what we do.
One thing I saw that was common amongst all of your stories was that you had somebody in your life that was an artist or had somebody that was influential. How important is that for young people who are starting, you know, or who are developing their art and may not have that person to say, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a family member, you know, to encourage them to I guess, to develop that? How important is it to have somebody in your life?
I would definitely say it's extremely important, and especially when kids are young and they're learning what their skills are, whether they're great in math or science or art. Some people looked at being artistic and creative as like, oh, that's nice, but you won't get a job doing that.
Yeah.
Or, oh, that's cute, but you need to focus on this and that.
Right.
But I also think art brings a balance. And if you are excellent in math or science or history, having art allows a healthy balance. And whether that's learning to play an instrument or learning to have an outlet. And I think a lot of kids now, adults need to make sure to hone that in younger children, because whether you're going through stress, you know, with the social media, the bullying, everybody needs an outlet.
Right.
So if you can
point.
find art, you know, to be an outlet, whether it's, you know, some kids want to sing or rap or play an instrument or draw or journal, learn how to write, you never know what that could turn into in the future. And, you know, thank goodness, you know, for me, when I went to school, for whatever reason, during the time I went back to school after I got my degree in fashion for visual communications. And when I graduated, everybody wanted me to do graphic design. I can't stand it. I mean, I do it, and I feel like I'm good at it, but I did not, that put me in a box, you know, as a career. Like, okay, you're an artist, that means you do graphic design, and you can create this logo, you can do this website, and I'm like, yeah, I could do it, but I wasn't necessarily passionate about it.
For sure.
So to answer a question that you had earlier about starving artists, I think there's a difference between an entrepreneur and a business person. A business person will go back and get a job. An entrepreneur will sacrifice and starve a little bit. So I think there's a difference in that.
Thank you for
it's
clearing that up.
definitely important for older people, mentors, teachers, to make sure they recognize, you know, those talents in young people.
And that's why it's so, and I'm sorry, Gary,
You wanted to touch
you
on
better
that,
chime in.
Gary?
I'm coming back to you, I promise. And that's why, you know, I think that's the hardest part of getting people in legislatures, you know, people that want to take the arts out of school, to understand, like, they think that arts is just to develop skills and talents, but like you said, you know, art is an outlet. So it may not be a skill or talent, because they figure, oh, well, they can go to so-and-so's after-school program, or they can go here on Saturdays, you know. But like you said, so many students actually need that outlet to sing, to play an instrument,
To
even
dance,
if they can't hold a tune, you know, or dance,
it
or
lets out
draw.
energy.
You
It's
know.
therapy.
Go ahead,
It's
Gary.
therapy.
On that tip though, sometimes what people don't realize is like art in general is problem solving. Music is the highest form of math. You know what I mean? So it's a whole lot. So it even reverts back to, like Tony was saying, like ancestrally. It's a lot that was conducted through music or art, like visually in the world that it functions. So sometimes everything's not necessarily about talent, but like I also look at art as like process. So like throughout the process of my life, it was a lot of things that didn't go right. Or like I might get a job, like this is a good job, it's a good job. But it wasn't meant for me to keep that job. Like I'm not really a 9-to-5 person. Like I don't keep normal hours, you know what I mean? But it was like every job that I had was part of the process. Everything that I failed was part of the process. It's part of the learning process. Like, and that's what some people don't look at. You know, a lot of people look at what somebody else has or what somebody else is doing. Like, for me, I think it was predestined that I was supposed to be an artist, but I tried to be everything else. Like, I dealt with the music. I'm gonna be a musical artist, and might have had some talent in it, but that's not for me. You know what I mean? I can still dabble in it, but that's not my real calling. Like now, for me, different things, like Rebecca said, it was entrepreneur or just by sheer luck. Like I would work little odd jobs, but kind of got tired one time. Like physically, I'm not supposed to do some of these jobs, and then it's like if I can devote 8, 10, 12 hours, 40 hours a week, 30 something, whatever it is,
Sure.
and be stressed out because I'm not getting hours to these people's business. Why don't I invest this time in myself? I had actually went back to school and got, like, I'd been kicked out of high school, got a GED, but ended up in the military, prison, and everything else, but went back and ended up with 3 degrees. So I'm sitting up
I
here
saw
like,
you in college.
yeah, so I'm sitting up here like, man, I got 3 degrees. So if it's just about a piece of paper and I could go work for somebody in a job
There you
that,
go.
like, hey, I might make $40,000 or $50,000 a year, but am I happy? So I've seen what to have, not to have it all, lose it all. I figure I might as well take my shot and feel like this is what I'm pushing towards. So then, like Rebecca said, for me, it's like you really don't sell as much art as you'd like to all the time. And then, like, now my prices have went up. So, like, I used to go and say, like, why is this person's painting this much? And it's like, it's based on what you did or your accolades or how you sell it in galleries. You know, so it's like, okay, so it's like, it's a learning process along the way. It's a business. So it's still like, I'm still learning to make mistakes, but I sell more t-shirts and hoodies than I sell paint.
Wow.
But now sometimes when I sell a painting, it could be like, woo, this is better than the check I had.
Right.
Or a ceramic
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah.
Or, you know, then sometimes I might do something for somebody and it's really like, it might not be what statistically the price is supposed to be, but I'm just doing it. Or I feel like it's a community service, or you helping somebody else learn something because somebody helped me. Like, it's a lot of people out here, like, I'll just be honest, I don't like them because they'll be like, they don't want to help nobody do nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I ain't saying you got to do everything for free, but everybody has somebody help them.
Right.
Sure.
Everybody has somebody tell them something in life where you learn from. So it's
Right.
like you just share experiences.
Right.
You know what I mean? What the next person does with it, they go on. Like, I see people do stuff that I done done and be like, you might be like, dang. But then you might look through, you were saying, a history book or like the museum and see, this has been done before.
Right.
It's just you got a new take on it. It's
Right.
like, sometimes I look at it for us, like as creatives, the ancestors just done been back in here, put this thought in your head, and either you act on it or you don't. You know, so now I just look at it, I just try to act on the impulses that I feel like are gonna pull me in the right direction.
How has some of the new ways of presenting your art, how's it changed the way you do, like merchandising? So now you're putting your art on your hoodies. And then Rebecca, you put your art on purses. You know, I don't think, let's see, who was one of the famous artists back in the Harlem Renaissance?
Well, I mean,
You know, of course.
back in the day, they might not have had the technology or ways to do that. But then at the same time, like you saying, us as creatives, like for me, I was influenced by a lot. Like I'm a stone cold hip hop.
I knew you was about to say
A
that.
kid from the late 70s on funk, like real funk, hip hop, and R&B. So it's like you think about for us, it's like the costumes of Parliament and Funkadelic,
Right.
the building the spaceship. Like that's something when I'm a kid. We got Saturday morning cartoons, TV goes out.
Right.
It's like Tony said, I'm making stuff out of comic books. So it's like I think the entrepreneurial period changed because the way of the world changed. But like for me, I looked at it like with the hip hop. You remember back in the beginning, everybody Def Jam, Public Enemy, PMD. You look inside, and they would have a t-shirt or a tour jacket, or so it was the raw artists. Like there's another little show we did, it's like an underground thing, and you go there, have music, fashion is loud. So I'm just looking, and for me, I just started thinking like like the bucket hat was part of me. It was like the B-boy, the Kangos. People like LL, Run DMC, Shed. You know, it's part that, but then it's part J.J. Evans had a bucket. So it's like, man, I'ma just wear them every.
Sure.
And it was like,
Shan wore it,
then somebody was like, man, can I buy one of those shirts? First, I thought it was just a gimmick for me, and it was like people was like it caught on.
It was branding.
And then so it was branding. So then I just started going with it's the brand, and when I show up at the shows, and it's like kind of like you stick in their head. So even traveling. So like now I've been fortunate enough to do shows outside of Indianapolis. So some of
Nice.
it's been a learning experience. Like, you know,
Sure.
the first piece I sold at a show was in Philly. It paid for my room that night. I didn't know I
Nice.
didn't know how it was gonna work out. You know, but then a learning curve last year, I did a show in Frisco, and like I blew my budget on just shipping the artwork out there. So it's like people like, hey man, like we love your stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, I didn't sell it. So it's
Right.
like that's a two-way ship. You know what I mean? Sold a
Yeah.
few t-shirts, but it didn't cover the shipping.
I got
Like,
you.
yeah.
Right. That's something that I wanted to ask y'all about in regards to pricing and, you know, support. You know, I think that that's something that, like, especially us as black folk, we gotta start paying for stuff for what it's worth. You know what I mean? And maybe it happens in other cultures, maybe not. You know, I'm
all
speaking
relative.
from the experience of our culture. I noticed that, you know, if you had two pieces, this one come from, let's just call him Michelangelo, you know, whatever. You know, and then you got
Gary
Gary G, you know. And, you know, a guy comes, and it's something about if he didn't know you, but he's seeing your art, what are you going for? You know, well, man, you
That's a
know,
good point.
you know, what makes people decide that, you know, especially in our culture, that it's not worth it if it's somebody that you know versus somebody that you don't know. You know what I mean? It's like I'll go back to the hot dog stand. Okay. I go back to the hot dog stand. You got two hot dog stands. You know, this guy, he's been out here consistently for years, and you got a new guy that's like, you know what, I wanted to do the hot dog cart too. I'm gonna go down. I'm just gonna go to this dude, and I'm gonna because I don't know him. So it makes me think, like, in our culture, should we not put our face on our stuff
Like it devalues
to get
when they
support
know.
from our own people? Like, what do we have to do to get support? Because as soon as you put your face on something, your value drops from
That's
people that
sad.
know you.
That's-
But you could go
that's
to
society.
Texas, and somebody that don't know you will pay the full price. So how do we get support from our immediate, you know, the people that's supposed to be family and support, or do we not care and just focus on everybody else? What is y'all ideas on? I know I said a lot in the whole.
That's all.
I mean, I don't know. I think I've been lucky enough that I've had some support.
Me too.
You know what I
Awesome.
mean? Like, sometimes I think we look for other people to, like, specifically put the value
Yeah.
on us.
Yeah.
And if you start focusing on those people, you'll see some other people, because there's been people who's brought my artwork or a hoodie or a t-shirt that's not who I expected to buy
Sure.
it, or it showed up at a show. You know, when it's other people that say, I'ma come, they don't
Right.
ever show up. When I got out of my mode, man, stop worrying about who's not here
There you go.
and focus on who is here.
Yeah.
Like, just culturally, it's not been taught for us
Right.
to collect art or to collect vintage albums or books. You know, like a first edition James Baldwin or Langston
Sure.
Hughes. It's like
Yeah.
we don't know that because we wasn't taught that. We're
Right.
robbed from that educationally in school. Like,
Sure.
I think people, you know, I seen that there was more history for us culturally down
Sure.
the hall in the school library
Sure.
that was in the textbook.
There you go.
You know, I mean, we just regurgitating common knowledge for
Sure.
the most part till we get tired of it. But you know, when you look outside the box, I remember getting in trouble for writing a book report on Malcolm X in grade school.
Really?
Yeah, I got a B because I said all the things that Detroit
Sure.
Red did as well as Malcolm
Oh,
X.
okay.
Because it's like,
That's
and
a
then
silver-
later on in my
silver
life, it worked because it shows like you can go from point A to point B.
Sure.
Like they say, people don't change, and sometimes people don't. But some people evolve.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it's like it's a community. Like with us sitting together, I mean, you see, like we can work together, just like y'all work. We are as a group. The gray area is a group. It's other pockets. So it's like there is a culturally rich mindset out here. It's just us sharing it. So like
Right.
now art shows, and if we can get people to come, you know, it sparks conversation just about the art or whatever. Just like on this show, you know, somebody sitting there talking about, man, like I had a hit. They liked what Tony was talking about just already. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's just how it is. So
Sure.
it's like sharing is caring is how I look at it.
Yeah.
The more we share as a community,
Sure.
the more the community's gonna care.
And set the standard.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was
What
one
do
of the
y'all think?
reasons when I started Meet the Artists,
Mm-hmm.
I knew people wasn't gonna come out just for an art show, you know, not our people. So what I had to do, you know, I had to have a little entertainment, some food,
Sure.
bring people out.
The
But once you
draw.
get them under that roof, that's
Yeah.
when you start educating.
There you
know.
go.
And I've seen a lot of people come to the show that are now buying art and supporting art. So this whole arena, you know, for 31 years has also been an educational component to it, and to try to teach our people, you know, their parts of buying art. You know, a lot of our people don't even know, you know, they got artwork in their house that's worth a whole lot of money. You know, you'll go buy a Cadillac, and once you take it off the lot, it starts to
Appreciate.
Come on.
appreciate.
Yeah.
We've got some old heirlooms in our houses that you'll sell in a garage sale, and some collector come along and get thousands of dollars for it. So, you know, because we don't know,
Right.
and it's just like our history, our cultural past, we know nothing about. So it's all about, you know, trying to educate as we go along, and that's what I've tried to do with Meet the Artists as well. And it's a place, you know, for folks to come and network. You know, I tell people all the time, man, if you got something going, bring it, pass it out, network, bring your business card. I tell the artists, you know, we giving you a venue. The rest of it's kind of up to you, you know, the
Sure.
network, invite folks to come out.
Yeah.
Somebody bought your work, make sure that they get an invitation. You know,
Absolutely.
To the show.
Yeah.
So,
There's something about like art. Like if let's I bring up stupid stuff, but I'm going to use this bottle as an example. Let's just say that this bottle right now in 2019 is what it is. It's a bottle of water. Let's say I kept this for 30 to 40 years. We've evolved to something else that's outside of you know, it's still a bottle of water, but it's different. You're saying people, we don't value the stuff that's being made and created right now by artists. We only value stuff later on, but it's people out there that appreciate and will come to your garage sale and buy that bottle of water that you just think is a bottle of water, not knowing that that bottle is 50, 60 years old, and they get making bank off of it. How do you get people to
Let me get my water back, man.
how do we get people to appreciate the art that exists today and to cherish it? Because I'm with you. I feel like if my grandparents passed away, I'd be looking at like, okay, you know, the house, we gotta figure out. I'm looking at it like, how can we make sure, you know, either sustain it or get, but not thinking about all the stuff that's in that house that they've been hanging on to for 50, 60 years. Somebody go through and put a garage sale together, and all the heirlooms are gone. You know, and other people in other places find that and make money off of it. So how do we get people to appreciate the art and to take care of this stuff like that?
Go ahead, Rebecca.
I just one quick thing, as far as getting people to appreciate, I think it's the story behind the art, because a lot of people, I think, appreciate art or purchase art or collect art is because they like the backstory. They like the person. You know what I mean? There's so many talented people in this world that may not get the recognition. They may even pass away and people didn't even purchase their work, or they never became this famous artist. And then after the fact, they have this great story, and they're like, oh my goodness, and then their stuff is going for millions of dollars.
Right.
Basquiat is a perfect example of that.
That's a really good
You
example.
know what I mean? So I honestly think whatever you create, if it's from the heart, if it's from the soul, if it's true, you stay true to that, and you have a story, that's what people are buying into. It's not necessarily, because a lot of people can paint well. A lot of people can draw well. But so what? What
makes you
why
special?
are you painting that? What is coming from here? Lately, what I've been painting and what I've been projecting is how I feel. So if someone wants to sit and have a conversation with me about my work, they might say, wow, that's nice, that's pretty, oh, that's gorgeous, that'll look great in my living room. Okay, but are you sitting there talking to me about why I painted it? Or do you relate to something? I did a show last week, and a young lady was just kind of sitting in the corner for like 2 or 3 hours. She came up to me and she said, oh my gosh, that piece that you did, I don't know. It just spoke to me. I don't know what it is, and that's what it's about, having a dialogue. And then if she chooses to purchase because it gave her some inner comfort or made her reflect on something,
Sure.
great. If you buy it just because you want to be cool and have some nice art, that's cool too. You put some money in my pocket. But at the end of the day, I really think it's the story behind the art.
Note to self: ask y'all the backstory next time I go to the gallery. So, what was the inspiration behind this?
Yeah.
That's deep. I've never asked that question.
I would go back to, it's kind of like to the museum question with that. And like we saying, so like Rebecca and I was talking about Basquiat. So, you know, like I remember going to the MoMA and the first time, this Museum of Modern Art in New York. Like I wanted to go, nobody really went with me because I wasn't going to party. I was just going to see an art show. But it ended up being Jacob Lawrence's one-way ticket. And the story behind that was like in the Depression era, when everybody black was migrating to the north, it was the migration series. So it's a museum and it's showing you how we traveled, you know, on the trains or the railroads, and how we was working, or the riots when the picketers was trying to stop the black people coming north in New York and Detroit and all that in that era. So, but the panels were like, they're small, like, so the story behind them or the magnitude of these little tempera paintings is like massive. Then to go around the corner, you know, like they had a room of Warhol and all that, but you pass through and they got a big piece of Basquiat's hanging in the hall. And in the art history books or any time I seen it online, it looks small, but it's like 30, 50 feet, 20 feet, something. It's big, but it's like, at the time, the guy who owns it, they said before Basquiat passed away, I think the guy tried to take it to the museum and they didn't want it. Then he tried to bring it back again after he passed away. They didn't want it. I think at the point when they were showing it, his paint was costing him like $50,000 a day to show it.
Wow.
You know, like for us, a lot of people in our community didn't know who he was or what he was till they heard Jay-Z or Rick Ross talking about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
It's just Basquiat's.
yeah, so it's like culturally significant. But just like that with us, throughout hip-hop, basically, I mean, we done sold everything. But it's like what you said, it's a status symbol. So some people won't go on their wall, like I got an Anthony Radford hanging on my wall, or LaToya Marlin, or Rebecca Robinson, but I got a Gucci.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Don't get me started.
But it's
on
like,
that.
that's her
We don't
pet
have
peeve.
enough time
And I'm
to
like,
go
ain't
there.
nothing wrong with it. Like,
Please
they,
start.
after all the
Okay.
time they knocked Dapper Dan,
Homie.
they finally paying him.
Come
You know what
on.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
but it's
right.
like, it's a status symbol. So in
That's all
other
it is.
places, some people know, like, well, hey, this artwork is an investment. So like for me, even as an artist or just somebody who created, I didn't plan on going back to school because I was like, you just be a starving artist. You know what I mean? But you could be a starving anything is what one of my professors told. So it's like, it's what you're supposed to be doing. But you know, to anybody who brought my pieces, like say the first Meet the Artist I did, those pieces all sold. Those 4 pieces, the people who paid for them, the value of their pieces is worth a whole lot more now because I'm selling more work.
Sure.
I've been on TV or
Sure.
in the paper. So it's a lot of stuff that happened to me that I'm like, you know, you dream about it, but as a visual artist, these opportunities wasn't always there. You know what I'm saying? For like most artists, that's unheard of. You know what I'm saying? So this era changes the game for us. Like social media, with some people that was like they against it, but it's like it exposes everything can come to you, or you can get to more people if you stay consistent in doing what you're doing.
So how much is that painting worth now?
Hold on. Somebody asked who that was speaking. That's Gary G.
Yeah.
It had to be an appraiser would get it, but I say I know from me, from just thinking on the basics, and them prices done doubled.
The Basquiat?
No, Jay-Z brought one, like now Basquiat has one that went for like 1.4 million. It's the highest painting sold at the auction. So you got Basquiat's and Banksy. And Banksy is the catch
Banksy.
because
Yes.
they don't know who he is. You know,
He's
but
still anonymous.
he does, man. Somebody knows who he is.
Right.
But he's doing tricks to like offset the art world where it's like, see, that's
Wow.
the catch. Like now as an artist, we can sell a painting and the value goes up. but we don't get any money off their value unless we selling prints or like the clothes, you know what I'm saying? So whoever owns the original, like for instance, for me on the clothes, I do Changing Faces and I sold some prints. That was one of my paintings that was like my masterpiece. Tony said I needed a masterpiece for Meet the Artist. That painting was like maybe $500-600 back then. That painting worth a whole lot more now. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But I'm happy I know the people who own it. So like some of my original stuff is like people who was like my friends that are like family that like really got love for me, and it was like, man, I believe in you. So it's like some of them saw it, like my mama saw it with the art kit before I saw it. You know what I mean? Sometimes we got to get out our own way to be who we supposed to be.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But you had said something that, Banksy. So if Banksy actually revealed himself, do you think his art would devalue?
Nope.
You think it'll go up?
I mean, now it's like,
Because that's
it's
kind of
too
like
late.
the mystery,
Yeah,
the
but
mystique, to, in my opinion.
It's too late. It's like his work is not gonna drop now. It's up there too high.
Oh, I see what you're
It's
saying.
up there
What
too
caused
high.
this work
This
to
is how you drop your work as an artist. So okay, the same piece that I sell to you for $300, to Toya for $300, Rebecca for $300, and if I sell it to him for $150, y'all gonna be mad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose respect.
Yeah.
My work is gonna decline. You know what I'm saying? But now if y'all paid $300 and he comes 3 years later and he pays $900, y'all like, we got a $600 profit. Ooh, we got in early. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's talk
Wow.
about Meet the Artist. Let's talk about Meet the Artist. The historian. And then on the flyer, it says, I'm kind of sad, but I'm also curious about this farewell celebration. I think my mic went off.
You good? We still hear
You
you.
can still hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can hear myself now. Farewell celebration of Meet the Artist founder and curator, Tony Radford. What's going on with that? What's going on with that, Brother Tony?
Where you going?
Where we going?
Vacation.
It's time to do something different.
Okay, okay.
31 years is a long time.
Very long time.
Taking it to where
But we
I
appreciate
want
you,
to take
though.
it, you know. And it's a lot of things that I've wanted to do, but haven't been able to do it because of a 9 to 5 and everything else that I do on the side.
Yeah.
So now it's me time. You know, it's a lot of things I want to do while I'm still on this earth. You know,
Sure.
and I can really put my mindset on it and do it. Now, as far as Meet the Artist, that's going to be part of me the rest of my life till I'm gone. I'm gonna always have my hand in it somehow. Actually, LaToya, we brought her in on our advisory board, and she's actually gonna play a big role after I'm gone. You know.
All right, shout out to promotions. All right.
The last 3 years have helped hang the show and you know, just seeing how I do it. But you know, LaToya is an artist and she's got an eye for art. So, and then the committee, you know, has learned a lot now. So Meet the Artist is still gone. The committee's still gonna be there, and I'm sure I'll be on the side. You know, I won't have to do the day-to-day stuff. You know, but
Right.
I'll be say, hey, Toya, Claudia, go check this artist out over here. You know, he got some great work, or y'all should, you know, that type of deal. But yeah, it's a lot of things that I had dreams about doing and haven't had the time to do it, but I'm just gonna get in the studio and make some things happen.
Understood. Well, you passing the torch, and I mean, you have created a phenomenal event. It's grown. So tell
And
us
this is
about
event 31.
31. So tell us about how you've seen this event evolve into what it is now. Because if you haven't been to Meet the Artist, for our viewers listening, it's an experience.
Well, like I say, from the first show in '89, as I was telling you earlier, I just wanted to show my art. I'd been in the '80s, you know, going to exhibits and things, but like I said, I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me. I didn't see a lot of black imagery, although I learned a lot and met some cool people. I walked out in the hallways of the library in '88 and I saw artists' work, Joe Holiday, that just blew me away. I was inspired. It was some of the best art that it was the best art that I'd seen back then. And I guess I was like a kid in a candy store. I was going from window to window checking his work out. and it inspired me to find out who in the library put that show together.
Mhm.
And they told me there's a lady named Barbara Alexander. She's on the African American History Committee. So I called her and was with the interest of doing the show next year, and she said yeah. So a week or two went by, and I realized that I didn't have enough work to fill all the cases.
Mhm.
So I called her back. I said, well, Barbara, you know, I don't have enough work, but why don't we do a group show and celebrate our artists and have a nice reception and give our artists some publicity. I said, you know, this is the library, y'all got media contacts and this and that. And she fell in love with the idea. They invited me to a committee meeting. I spilled what I wanted to do, and here we are 31 years later.
Wow.
And it just involved, like I say, from the first show, we had about 150 people come out.
The first show?
The first show.
Oh, that was
and,
nice.
And that was a success for
Yes.
me, you know. We had a jazz band, which was my uncle. He's a jazz musician. He got some of the old school jazz musicians together. We had some food, and it was a nice reception. And so I quit going to the meetings, and because I thought it was just a one-shot deal. They called me and asked me why I hadn't been coming to the meetings. I said, well, you know, I didn't know. I thought it was just a one-shot deal. They said, oh, my fault here. And they said, no, we want to do it again. So I said, okay. And the first thing I went with them was, okay, let's do it again, but now we got to include youth. I want a youth exhibit. So we brought in a youth exhibit. And just each year just grew and grew till we got to year 6. And we used to do it a 3-hour reception on a Friday while the library was open. It grew so big that we had to shut it down and do it on a Saturday and add an hour and make it a 4-hour reception. And I had a couple of fashion designers in Meet the Artist 7. And they really had their cases laid out. And one lady worked with denim and had all, you know, Africa on the back of jackets and lions climbing up the leg. And the other lady worked more with traditional African garb. And I just got an idea, said, I went to him and called him. I said, would y'all mind coordinating a fashion show? You know, I'd like to see what the stuff looks like on, you know. And they said, yeah. And that was the beginning of the fashion show, which is now the grand finale of the
It sure is.
And
It's amazing.
I knew I didn't have any fashion experience, so I went to the committee. I said, well, look, let's get a fashion designer to coordinate it and pay them to coordinate it and put it together. So, like I say, the fashion show is like the final finale.
Yeah.
We've had some of the best designers in the city: Alpha Blackburn, Nikki Blaine, CC Elaine, who does wedding attire. We've had some people that's not so famous, you know, but we let them coordinate it. They do everything, you know. We pay them to do that, and they put the fashion show together. So it's just each year, you know, I added something or did something different. I was always, because I'm a mixed media artist and do strange things sometimes, I was always looking for that unique artist. I've had a brother that did artwork with bubble gum.
Wow.
With bubble gum, and he had 6 pieces in the show, and he sold every piece in the show. And this couple came to, he was a barber. He had a bunch of work in his barbershop. They came and bought everything in his barbershop.
Wow.
So I had a brother named Clyde Lacey who designed knives, but not just like a pocket knife. I'm talking about these
Ginsu's.
pearl handles,
Oh,
and
nice.
he had some Arabs that wanted him to design these knives for him, and he was one of 2 blacks that was on the knife circuit in the U.S.
Wow.
So we've had some unique artists. We've got some great success stories. Loban Hamilton,
Yeah.
brother
Shout out to
that
Loban.
does the crack records. You know, I saw his work, and I fell in love with it. And I knew from the minute I saw his work, it was different, it was unique, and I had a feeling that he was going to do something. So I invited him over to a set that we do at my studio called Art in the Garden. And I just laid back and watched. He couldn't enjoy himself because people were just asking him questions and admiring his work. So I asked him to come to Meet the Artist and do Meet the Artist. And he called me up one day. He said, "Tony, I got some people that want to come look at my art. You know," he said, "I want you to come down there." I said, "Well, I'll come down there, but I'm just going to be in the background, you know."
Mm-hmm.
And they admired his work. I think they wound up buying 2 or 3 pieces of his work. And from that point on, I think he went to the Africa Fest in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
They interviewed him. It went viral.
Mm-hmm.
Got a couple of galleries up there. Asked him to show at the galleries. And next thing I know, he's calling me, telling me that they want him to bring his work up to California to do the Samuel L. Jackson Golf Tournament.
Wow.
And
His art's been on Empire.
it's been on, yeah, he's
Empire.
got
I think
Empire.
Kanye West bought a piece.
Mhm.
There was a picture with him.
Yeah,
Been a few. Yeah.
been a few celebrities
Mhm.
that's got his work.
And
So,
he's got talent.
We've had last year, I bought 10 artists back that have been in Meet the Artists that are, you know, really doing some big things in art.
Mhm.
Big shows, you know, selling their art. So I couldn't bring everybody back.
Right.
So when we got the new center, one of the things I wanted to do was put a plaque in that center
Mhm.
with every artist that has come through Meet the Artists in the last 30 years.
Oh, that's
So that
nice.
plaque is in the center
That's
with
beautiful.
everybody's name on it. And we celebrated those 10 artists who were doing some magnificent things in art.
Mhm.
Brought Vivica Fox here for a couple of days. And
Mhm.
we had a really nice 30th celebration.
And that's beautiful, because, you know, I mean, a lot of people could be so selfish. Like you said, you started out with your own art, you know,
Well,
and you could have,
it was about me in the beginning.
right, and that's what I'm saying, it's evolved into being about everybody
I
else.
just wanted a place to show
Yeah.
my art, but then after I looked at it, I said, you know, I went back and said, wow, you know, I was going to all these shows, but I didn't see people that looked like me.
Mhm.
So I was like, you know, we need some recognition.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I told Barb, and she was like, "Oh, Tony, I love that idea." Da 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 da.
Mhm.
Invited me to the committee, and like I say, here we are, 31 years later. It's been a success. You know, back in the day, I hustled. I was everywhere because we didn't have social media, so I had to get out and hustle. Go to every poetry set, every dance, whatever it was, I was there, passing out flyers, getting my name out, meeting people. You know. Tell them, yeah, come on out to this event. And it just, like I say, from day one, it just grew and grew and grew. 6 years, we outgrew a Friday 3-hour reception, Monday to Saturday a 4-hour reception, and just kept adding it. You know, it was a success for the library, so the budget got bigger and bigger, and you know, and our new director, Jackie Needis, came to us a few years ago and wanted to build, you know, do this cultural center, and wanted us to be the lead, you know, and that was all off the work that this committee had been doing for 40-something years, and I got to sit in on with the design committee and help design it and all that good stuff, you know, and that was one of the biggest points of my career with this exhibit, was seeing that center in place for us and for anybody else that wants to come and visit the center. So, you know, I think I've left a pretty nice legacy. I'm seeing a lot of younger artists now evolving. You know, I'm old school, so I've seen all the old school. When I started, I was the youngster in the old school group. Now I'm the old school guy, and seeing a lot of new talent coming along. And the reason this group formed is, I study people. I checked Gary G out. I went to a couple of sets he was doing. He introduced me to some people. LaToya, I used to go to her openings, and she was selling like crazy, you know. And then Rebecca, somebody gave me her website, and I was checking out everything she was doing with the purses and stuff, and I just called her up. One day, my studio mate Bruce, we did a thing over at my studio called Art in the Garden, and for the first 10 years, and then we kind of faded out. And me and him was talking. He said, "Tony, people still ask me about Art in the Garden and what we stop for and this and that." I said, "They doing the same thing with me, Bruce." I said, "But I've been checking out some artists, man. They're gifted, talented, And I said, I'm gonna invite about 20 artists, and that's how We Are got started. And you know,
We Are Indie Arts Group.
We Are Indie Arts. Everybody in this group is talented.
Yes.
And all of them got something outside of art that they do. So everybody, we're now the 10 members.
I was gonna ask you if you guys can tell us everybody that's in the group that's not here.
Okay, Bruce Armstrong, Sandra Holliday, Courtney, who else?
Winterborn, Harris
Yeah.
Jones,
Omar.
Omar.
Eric Dykes is our new
Eric
member.
Dykes is our newest member now. We're 10 members strong. So we've been doing, for the last 3 years, been doing some really great positive things in the community and growing as an arts group. Like Gary said, we're stronger together. We support each other.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to thank these guys too, because I had a real bad time this summer. I lost 2 brothers within a 2-week period.
Oh man.
A few days before we were doing our big show, Art in the Garden, and they kept saying, Tony, don't worry about it, we're gonna handle it, you know, and this and that, you know. But like I told them, you know, man, look, I just gotta keep moving and keep moving. But I appreciate, I know I told them all before, but that's that family word thing that we got, and it really helped me get through that bad time, you know, this summer. Back in September when I lost my brothers, you know, my oldest brother and my youngest brother. So we a close-knit arts group, we family, we look out for each other, we support each other, and we've done some great things. We made it to that 3-year period as an arts group.
Really 4.
Really, we're going on our 4th year.
Past the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, we passed the honeymoon phase.
You can stand and look at each other and all the
everybody
quirks
can look
and
for
everything.
some great things
Yeah.
coming in the future from We Are. And like
That's
I say, not only our art, like Rebecca, I mean, she can explain The Color of Madison, the documentary that she's doing on her father and grandfather.
Yes.
You know, Gary G just won an award last year, a big award through the Arts Council, and was
Congratulations.
Yeah.
so you know, everybody's work is involved.
Yeah.
Latoya, she's just all over the place now.
Every time I look up, somebody's sharing a picture with one of Latoya's pictures.
That's probably why you look so familiar.
Always, you see somebody. I just purchased. I just got this. I just got that. Selling them like hotcakes.
So, you know, Bruce Armstrong, I think, is the elder in our group, and Bruce is just
Pushy.
He's
Pushy.
Pushy.
This guy, I can be over at the studio, and he's in there for a few seconds. I'll come back the next day, and he can create
like
2 or 3
20 pages.
pieces. You know,
Yeah.
Wow.
Work like
yeah.
Pac in
And
the
and
studio.
he's
Wow.
got several pieces at the airport. So, like I say, everybody's busy. Everybody's doing
That's
good things
amazing.
in
Y'all
this
have a
group.
strong group. I mean,
Yeah.
a strong, talented group. And salute to you, Tony Rafford, because I mean, you've put together. I didn't know a lot of these backstories, and I've seen your name, and I've seen you run around MTA, you know, or at the gallery, the garden, Arts Garden, or Art in the Garden. I never knew that all of this was you, because you're so humble and so low key with it. I didn't know, you
A lot
know,
of people
and
tell me
that's beautiful, because you have like developed and have brought so many artists, you know, to our awareness.
Yeah, I didn't
mean,
even
they
know
speak
that
for
this
themselves,
existed.
but I mean,
This is huge.
because of Meet the Artist, because of, and by the way, like you said, you can buy their pieces, right, at Meet the Artist. So it's not just the look, right? Because they have vendors and everything, but the art is not just the look; it's for sale too.
Yeah, and you know, we work with you. We have railway plans. We take credit cards.
There you go.
know.
Right.
So you know, it's
Any app you like to pay
Right.
people on.
and that's,
Right.
you know, when I go to people's house, the first thing I look at is their walls, and I'm like, man, you need a piece of artwork on that wall. Let me introduce you to this artist. You know, I even like look at the
We want
room,
some
and I know
concrete
exactly
and
what artist I want to help them to. You know, to
that's
go
nice.
with that. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like I say, it's all good. It's just, you know, most people say I'm humble or whatever, you know, but you know, I think I've done what I was supposed to do, what God put me here to do
No, we
in this
appreciate you.
in this art
We
world.
appreciate you.
And now, like I say, after 31 years, you know, it's just, you know, I'm still here. I'm just
Yes,
gonna slow
sir.
down a little bit.
We appreciate
Chill.
you. So Gary, were you gonna say something? You had that look like you just something just came to
It
your
was a
mind.
few like, I mean, you know, like Tony thanking us is like, really is like the guidance, and a lot of the stuff I do, I think is because of not just Tony and Bruce, but like other artists that I know that are out there. But like Tony and Bruce is like, they're like a big brother or uncle, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, the family, Majisa's like an aunt, and the girls is like, we all like sisters and brothers when we all in there together. But it's like, through their mistakes or their experiences, that's what makes us stronger. So like Tony's sense of community is like instilled in us, like to push you even farther. Like Bruce is one when I'm contemplating stuff like Rebecca and I'll talk about this. Like sometimes we know like you have to do more than just in your city, but you still want to like hold your city down, even if your city ain't thinking about you. But it's like you got to make it, or sometimes you have to go out. So it's like that's when I really got to traveling or pushing myself forward more. It was like Bruce was one of those mentors, and he would be like, Gary, just go. You got to go. You're young enough and your kids is old enough. Just go. Just go. So it's like Tony and Bruce, it's like they'll push you, you know, a little bit farther. So then it's in turn we all push each other a little bit farther, or I want to see somebody else go, and like Omar and I, it's like groups inside of the groups, you know. It's like we like Wu-Tang, like the Barnes is
Who's
with us
ODB? I just want to know.
I don't know.
Gary?
I might have a little bit of that too. One time they said I was like meth, but it might be a little bit of the ODB. But in a sense, we all like Voltron, G-Force, any of that. We break off and we come out. You know, we come together, and it's like just a choir. You know what I mean? And the music is just beautiful, like visually, like you can look at different colors and different styles, and like Rebecca is like as soft and sweet as she can be, then it's like she's got this hard, like she said, the concrete and tar. And it was like even before we all got, I was like, she does that? You know what I mean? And Toya's figure's been jumping for so long. Like we was all hanging the other day, and she's just like, oh, these people took a picture and they got one of my paintings. I said, no, they got two of your paintings in the background. You know, and Tony been like all over the place. So it's like that camaraderie and just the fact that you see other black people excelling. You know what I'm saying? Or even like for us, we all know even other white artists or Latino artists, you know what I'm saying? Male, female, young, old. It's like it's a community that's out here now that was never here before. You know what I mean? So it's like some people do want to see people grow and excel because it's gonna take like a whole city or a lot of different groups, or like all of us doing different things to push the messages. But it's like it's really like the old ways. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us grew up. It's a narrative, like a storytelling narrative and the visual narrative, and we got to pass information down and along to each other to keep it strong, you know, for the culture to survive.
That's right. So Latoya, seeing that I'm kind of reading between the lines, and maybe I'm not accurate, but it sounds like Tony passed the torch. I mean, I don't know if that's how I'm reading it from Meet the Artist. Because I was going to ask you, can you kind of bring us up to speed on MTA now? What to expect Saturday? And who's going to showcase? I know you guys are going to be in Meet the Artist.
As far as passing the torch, I don't think that I will be doing it completely alone.
Right.
It'll still be the committee. We have another artist that's on the committee.
Okay.
Cheney Jones. She will be kind of assisting, and Tony will be consulting it. So we'll all meet up and figure out how to move forward.
Okay.
But the show is going to be this Saturday. It's at 5:30, and it ends at about 10:30. Sometimes the fashion show goes a little bit over, which is cool.
I think I've been there when the lights cut it. Have I been there when the lights got cut off? Or not got cut off, but they cut them off.
Kind of dim the lights.
Tony cut the light. He was like, all right now, let's go. Yeah, it was nice though. It was really nice.
So the exhibit itself isn't over until March 30th.
Okay.
So you have plenty of time to come if you can't make it to Saturday. But come Saturday. Please come Saturday. And we also will have a closing reception, and it will be the 22nd. And so you can kind of meet with each artist individually. You'll be able to meet with the authors, and so the artists will be kind of set up as vendors, and you can, you know, kind of get up and close and personal, maybe buy some art or whatever you want to do.
And that'll be March the 22nd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Closing exhibit. And like you said, it's a little bit more up close and personal. We won't have the big stage, and so we'll have artists doing demonstrations and selling their work, authors selling their books, the fashion designers will be selling their fashions and accessories. We're gonna have a DJ-ism will be in the house. We're gonna have tours of the exhibit. The cafe will be open. We've got workshops for youth. So it's just a little bit more up close and personal. And this will be our 6th year, and it's growing as well. Each year it gets bigger and bigger. So we want to invite everybody back out.
Yeah.
And we're going to ask you to bring that credit card, bring that checkbook, and bring that cash and purchase some beautiful black artwork. And,
We can do without those
books.
Jordans. We can do without
Yeah.
those
Absolutely.
whatever
And a lot
else
of
that
people-
we spend money on that we really don't need.
Yeah.
Like you said, spend it on something that's going to increase in value. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I'm just saying, you know, buy a piece of artwork and put that beautiful piece on your wall.
Okay.
You know, or this is a Latoya piece or a
Right.
Rebecca piece, you know. And again, like Gary was saying, if you purchase that piece, know a little bit of that history so you can explain it to that person.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, everybody come out this Saturday and March the 22nd.
How
And
much
also,
does it
I want to
cost?
say one more thing before we get. We're going to have a scan-a-thon. At Meet the Artist, we're going to have a information booth where organizations, individuals can bring their pictures and information about their organizations and stuff, and we'll scan it March the 22nd,
Okay.
and it'll be documented. And you know, like if you're a church or old organization, and you got pictures and information. My big thing too is documenting everything that we do and leave a legacy for our kids and our grandkids. I got to share a story. A few years ago, all our history was in 7 boxes, crates, in a warehouse. I kind of got upset about that because it was passed down to me last. So I was like, look, we got to document this. You know, all this history for 40-something years. I mean,
Was it like
we
art?
got
What kind of
pictures
history was it?
the history of this committee and all the things that we've done, pictures and
Wow.
documents, and I mean, pictures of Ruby D and Isaac. You know,
Oh,
we had
wow.
all these pictures. Maya Angelou.
Yeah.
This was before I got. They started out with a lecture series,
Okay.
so we had all these people that they brought through before I got on the committee. All these pictures and information just in boxes, but now it is documented and on public record.
Good.
And we opened it up when we brought Nikki Giovanni here
Sure.
2 years ago, and she, we had it on the big screen, and she was just wow, you know. She
I had to sit in the
loved it.
overflow for that one, and it was still like I was just there, just right in the front row. It was
Yep.
real nice, and I didn't know you guys were responsible for that. So there's
Yeah,
so
well,
many
we do
things.
a fall fest too, and we bring a lecture here. You know, Nikki
Okay.
Giovanni. Who else we brought? We brought a lot of people here. Just off the top of my head, I can't even think now. But we brought a lot of authors here in our fall fest. Kevin Powell.
Oh, I forgot
What
about
was the
Kevin
name of
Powell.
the show you?
We just did a show,
Sons of the New
Sons of-
Tribe.
Sons of a New Tribe.
Yeah.
So, what was the Killing Ken exhibit
I
a few
remember
years
that
ago?
one.
We bought
Daughters.
Women of a New Tribe.
Women of the New Tribe.
So, you know, we've even had featured a couple of local plays. We did a Sonny Bates play, Ballad of Birmingham, about the 4 little girls who got killed. He bought the house down. It wasn't a dry in that place. The part where the 3 little girls got killed.
Yeah.
And then we bought another playwright, her play. I can't remember the name, but it was about when, you know, how people get out of prison and can't get a job, and we had a panel discussion afterwards. So you know, we do a lot of other things.
Color medicine.
The Color of Medicine, we featured Rebecca's in the film, and Rebecca has scanned a lot of pictures of her father and that information and history. So it's really important if you want to document your history, whether it's individual, organization, artist group like us. You know, we formed a group back in the 90s called Indie Renaissance. And for a decade we existed, and we did a lot of great things, and we got a lot of pictures, films, all kind of stuff. So we've been getting together. People like Deborah Sante came out of that group. The
Shout out
Midtown
to
Writers,
Deborah
James
Sante.
Officer and James Depp, formed Midtown Writers.
Yeah.
Deborah found, Sante started
Asante
Children's Theater.
Mhm.
We had a couple other people that Magisa had a dance troupe called Fire for 10 years. So, you know, although we were a group, we all did different things outside of that. I had Meet the Artist, you know, so.
Wow.
And we traveled, we went everywhere, you know, so. So it's, like I say, it's been a great 31 years, man.
I think we need a Tony Radford documentary.
Documentary, yeah.
That's what I think we need. I mean, there's so many stories that
Just don't let Lifetime.
I've just been sitting.
Okay, right.
I ain't said nothing because I just been sitting here absorbing like all this history, all this stuff, because
Same here.
and this is why we love doing this, you know, because we get to meet so many different people doing so many different things, and we get to share that with the viewers who may not know or do know, you know. But the beauty of it is that we've met so many great people that came through here, and this is our second. We got 2 years in, going on our third. And wow, I just be amazed at all the people that we be meeting. And I've been in this city on and off since I was
52
like
years.
9. See, there you go. Since I was like
52 next
9.
month. 52 next
And I
month.
swear I just meet people for the first time, and it's just amazing
Yeah.
to me that this exists. So, you know, it's beautiful that we got technology, got platforms where we can share this kind of stuff, because without you guys coming here and sharing this with us and people, we wouldn't have knew.
Blown
You know,
away.
so this is just amazing to me. You got a guy on, you know, this is one of the guys that's going to be there. His artwork is actually on the flyer. I've been examining this flyer while he's been talking. And, you know, Christopher Burns,
Papa's touch.
his painting, you know, is on the front of the flyer, which is nice, you know. And I look at stuff like this because I do graphic design too, and I'm thinking like, I thought this was like a picture somebody found on Google and just pasted on here, you know, quick flyer type of stuff. But this is an actual painting that somebody that's actually in the show.
And that's
All original work.
Yeah, all original work.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking.
what we do each year. We select an artist to do our cover for us.
Wow.
So every year, you know, artist's work, you know, covers our brochure and flyers.
Yeah. Wow. And then this lineup here, there's a bunch of people on here that's been through our show. Shane Shepherd,
Shane Shepherd.
Mr. Testimony. A lot of people on here. I mean, like, wow. This is going to be amazing. Yeah, Two Black. We had Two Black in here. He's a poet.
Black.
But this
Black
is
was
just
also
amazing.
We were both featured artists for Art and Soul last year.
Wow.
And like that's another event that goes on.
Yeah.
It started last Saturday with the Arts Council and the Arts Garden, but they'll do Wednesday through Saturday at lunchtime. It's a different performer, and it's somebody black that's in town.
Wow.
From classical music to dancers to gospel bands, all kind of stuff, man. It's a lot of talent in the
People
city.
just don't realize how much talent. I've been doing Meet the Artist. I've got opportunity to travel.
Sure.
You know, getting invited to different gigs that I never would have gotten invited to. But my outside travels, man, you know, I go to shows and stuff, and I'm like, wow, man, Indy's got so much raw talent here.
Sure.
And I've been someplace, and I'm comparing, oh, man, gee, it blow him out the water. So blow him out the water, you know. But like I said, it's so much talent here. There's so much raw talent that, we need to. Indy needs to keep that talent right here,
Sure.
and we let it get away.
Yeah.
Whether it's visual art, dance, theater.
Have people travel here to come see
Okay.
this work.
Yeah.
Right.
But like
And
it's,
like I was talking to a reverend today, came to talk to me, and he was blown away. He said, "Man, we ain't got to go to New York or Chicago." He said, "Y'all
Right
got
here.
it right here."
Yeah.
And he was excited.
true.
Said he's gonna bring his wife and kids. But yeah, we got all this raw talent right here.
Yeah.
And we need to keep it here.
That's
Yeah.
right. So
This
how
is
much?
Free and open.
I was just about to ask.
Free,
Look, you were telling
free
me.
and
That's
open
gonna be-
to the public.
Free.
Y'all have no excuse.
Okay.
Only thing,
love free.
bring some money to eat. We do
Right.
have
And
a caterer,
purchase
SMB Catering.
Mm-hmm.
Partner of mine's got some good food, so that's the only thing you have to pay for when you get hungry. And he's got some specials.
And the
so-
art. And the art.
And the art, yeah. If you see a piece you like, you can't take it
And
that
the
night.
vendors.
You call the artist, make arrangements to come pick it up.
There's some stuff
Do
for the
people make
kids.
bids
There's
on
stuff for
that,
the
though?
kids too.
Do people make bids? So let's say if I come across any of your art pieces, and I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, and you tell me it's 300 or whatever. Can somebody come after me and be like, I want it for 450. I give you 450 for it.
that's more like an auction.
I know, but I'm saying like, but you would take that 450 over that 300 though, would you?
I don't know. It's kind of like
I just
you
want to make
can.
sure my stuff don't get taken.
if you buy,
Since I can't take
if
it with
you
me.
buy a piece from me, like
Yeah.
say if one of us sell you a piece,
Uh-huh.
like the arrangement usually is like it would come down after the show,
Awesome.
and then you would get it.
Okay.
Now if somebody else comes behind you and says I want that piece, well it's sold,
Yeah.
but I can make you something
Yeah, I
like
can
that.
Okay,
do
good.
Like you
good.
can take
Just wanna make
commission,
sure
you know, you can do a commission. So
Cool.
like sometimes somebody might see something too. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, that's high. I can't afford that. Well, what can you afford? Because we might be able to make something
Okay, good.
that's in your budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's good to know.
That's what I'm saying. Most of the artists will work with you, especially a first time buyer. If I got a piece for 300 and you got 250, you might be able to get it for 250.
Another way you can get artwork from us is if you come to a We Are show. Tony started this thing. At first I thought it was crazy, but we do raffles.
Yeah.
So people that actually came in the raffle, and
Really?
we'll put up some red. Ain't no crap artwork. It might be the same piece you seen somewhere for $300 or $400, and you be like, you spend $5, and you might get you. Was it 3 tickets?
Just $3 a ticket.
$3 a ticket.
3 for $5.
3 for $5. So you can spend $5, take a chance at a We Are show. You might not even have to be present. If you brought that ticket, we're gonna call you and you're gonna get a piece. And we usually give away like a lot of nice stuff
Yeah.
there.
And we may
Wow.
do a raffle for the closing reception then.
We might.
Possibly.
Okay. So how can, before we close out, how can our viewers get in touch, or how can we find you all so that we can support and make those purchases?
We are Indie Artists on Facebook. You can just search us. I think our link is on your Facebook page if viewers are looking for it. And we are also on Instagram. We are Indie Arts. And you can also search the African History Committee, Central Library's African History Committee. Also has a Facebook page, and you can search that if you're thinking about, if you just want to view more about what the committee does, or the types of events that they have, that we have during the year. If you want to reach me, I'm on Instagram and Facebook under Paintings by Toy. And Rebecca?
Yep, you can visit my website. It's snob.com, and it's spelled PSNOB.com.
By the way,
P
I
is
always said
silent.
peace now.
I did
I'm
it.
so she get mad.
The
Oh,
P is silent. Yeah.
I've been saying peace now for about 5-6 years.
No, just snob.
Snob,
There you
got
go.
it, got
I'm
it.
on I'm all over the place. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Right now the one website's Original Gary G for the clothes, and the art by Gary G is under construction, but it'll be back up by this weekend.
Alright.
Original Gary G's the Instagram and all that good
And
stuff.
that's GEE.
G-double-E.
And we'll also have a program with all the artists' names in it and the contact information.
Nice.
So if you see a piece you like and don't get to talk to the artist at night, you can get a hold of the artist, and or you can get a hold of me at the library, and I can put you in touch with that particular artist. I think we've already sold one piece already. I had a guy in yesterday who was adamant about buying a huge piece too from one artist.
Nice.
Because he know it's gonna be gone.
Okay.
He's trying to get a head start.
Yep.
We just run down before we close out. Run down this list of people and what's gonna happen there. Because there's something for everybody. There's something for everybody. Kids, people who like performing arts, they're exhibit artists. We are indie groups, and then the display cases. Just can you run down that real quick? Just run down who's gonna be a part of that. I'll do it. So it's for the 2009. This is for 2019 Meet the Artist. For the 2019 Visual Arts South Display Hall Simon Room CBLC and display cases. You got Aaron Jones, Ayanna Tibbs, Christopher Burns, Mary E. Clark, Makai Shakur, Anthony Armstrong, Mr. Testimony, Kiana Charles, Sean McClendon, Tyrone Thomas, Carolyn Irene Bell. For We Are Indie Arts Group, we got a few of them here right now. Tony Radford, Bruce Armstrong, Diva. Was that Diva? Diva. Diva Armstrong. I'm sorry. Diva Courtney, Gary G, Latoya Marlin, Omar Rashawn, Rebecca Robinson, Winterborn Jones, Sandra Holiday. I ain't about to butcher that. The youth reclaimed exhibit artist, Matchbook Learning at Wendell Phillips School 63, Providence Cristo Rey High School. For the authors, Allison Horton, Jimmy Bridges, Marvin Harvey, Shane Shepard, Frank Smith III. For the youth and family activities, Cinnamon the Clown with face painting, Mr. Testimony with the jewelry workshop, spoken word artist Eric Saunders with the youth poetry workshop, Magic Mike Ray. This is not Magic Mike, the movie, so don't be coming for that, okay? This is Magic Mike Ray with the Magic in the Music Show. Curve staff of the Indianapolis Public Library, Big Games Interactive Gadgets. For featured performing artists, you got two black poet, Ken Skelton, Hartman and Friends Blues Band. That's a live band. Miss Nicole Renee with the fashion. She's a fashion show coordinator. Sancocho Drum Troupe. African Dance and Drumming. The Judah Band. That's a good group. The Gospel Choir. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Indianapolis Alumni Chapter Step Team, and the food vendor SMB Catering. So there, I mean, like, you can't miss. You can't miss.
Free. All that for free.
All that for free. Y'all got to be
Bring your
there.
pocketbooks, bring your money, bring
Yeah.
your credit card.
Yeah,
Support this, man.
we enjoyed y'all so much.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think I was quiet for about 25 minutes, just listening and taking in all this history and an understanding of this. And I'm sure that the viewers, appreciated it as well. So again, thank y'all for coming, for spending time with us, and sharing your qualities with the viewers. Thank y'all for coming to the Gray Area. We just want to say thank you to the viewers for always rocking with us and tuning in. Yeah, no problem. No problem. This is beautiful. And, anything else that you all have going on, just let us know. And if we can be there to support it, we will definitely. If you guys have another event coming up halfway through the year, get in contact with us or Ebony. Let us know, and we can bring you back in here and discuss it. We do this for the community. This is a free platform, and as long as we can fit you in the schedule, you're welcome to come back in and do your thing. So thank you again for coming.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Appreciate y'all
Yeah.
coming, man.
Ebony and Pat, y'all got anything y'all want to add? Close
I
out.
think you wrapped it up.
Yeah, man,
You wrapped it up?
man.
Latoya said, we're going to be able to talk about art for that long. Told you.
I love
It's an ongoing conversation.
Yeah,
So we,
yes, it
so,
is.
so
It
we hope
is.
to see you guys there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what?
I was texting my daughter as we were, I said, I took a picture of this. I said, this is where we're going, and we're going, so, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And you can
yeah.
put a face with the artwork.
Absolutely. You can put a face with the artwork. Because I've been sitting here thinking, like, I'm hearing the pieces, now I got to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see
So,
it.
yeah. So we definitely
Yeah.
going to come check y'all
Yeah.
out. Thanks for inviting us out. I'll make sure to bring some cash and the credit card to make
Now
sure.
we might be fighting over some of these pictures now.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't
go where I'm going.
We got plenty. We got plenty to go around for everybody.
We might see the same thing. Then we got no.
That's okay. I'm gonna let you have it, Ebony. I know you used to be in a gang a long time ago.
There you go.
Ebony, don't she cover up her
There you go.
tattoos, but she used to be.
Why are you laughing?
Sorry, I ain't mean to. I'm scared. I ain't mean this.
Thank y'all, man, for coming, man.
Right now.
Appreciate
Thank
y'all.
you.
All right, thank you,
Again.
viewers. Peace.
Yes, thank you. We'll see y'all next week. Peace out.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate y'all, man.
That's the first time I ever went live. Yeah.
Did not know that.
Right now.